Welcome everybody to our webinar about probiotics, the consumer trend shaping cleaning and laundry brands. My name is Rogelke Romero. I am Marketing Director at HEIQ and I will be guiding you through this webinar today. We will have 30 minutes of presentations followed by 15 minutes of Q&A where we'll enter your questions. You can already ask those questions during the presentations by using the Q&A button. Now, let me introduce our three speakers today. First up, we have Dr. Robin Temmerman. Robin is the head of Business Unit Life Sciences at HEIQ and the CEO of HEIQ in Belgium. He holds a PhD in microbiology, specifically in probiotics. As such, he is well placed to answer detailed questions about the microbial world and its benefits during the Q&A part of this webinar. Next up, we have Mauricio Costa Ladeira. Mauricio is the Chief Operations Officer of HEIQ Life Sciences. He has worked for HEIQ for 16 years. He holds a bachelor's degree in foreign trade and took specialization courses in sales strategy and management. He has a vast experience in the export, sales, and the regulatory management of symbiotic products. Now, our guest speaker today is Ollie Gallant. Ollie founded Gutology, a UK company creating microbiome-friendly oral care products. He also runs the Gutology podcast, a popular platform focused on the gut and oral microbiome. Ollie's work blends consumer insights, content creation, and practical microbiome innovation. Okay, I will now hand over to Robin to start the presentation.
A very good morning from my side out of Belgium, and probably good afternoon, good evening for some people elsewhere in the world. I'm very happy to see that there is quite a large number of participants who registered for the webinar. And I think this is of course a clear reason why we are organizing this webinar and focusing on consumer applications, because we see a clear trend growing. Just asking, Rahel, are you sharing the PowerPoint or do I just share it? Yeah, okay. Wow, this is it. So what we see, so as you know, so I'm CEO of HEIQ which belongs to HEIQ Group, Swiss group of companies into material innovation, and HEIQ has for many years, already 35 years, been working mostly in B2B, industrial cleaning products, degreasers. Over the years, we have developed and focused in sustainable solutions. And for more than 20 years now, almost 25 years, we have been specializing in probiotic and symbiotic applications. Now, this has always been to a great extent in the industrial cleaning market, B2B, but we have engaged a couple of years ago also the consumer market, because we see a clear trend growing there as well. There are a couple of drivers for that. First of all, in Europe, we have the new detergent regulation that in the course of this year will be in full effect. This new detergent regulation includes a new chapter specifically on probiotic detergents with a whole list of criteria to guarantee that products that enter the market are safe and effective. This, of course, triggers companies to also engage in this market, because before we had some regulatory gray zones and clarities because nothing was specifically specified on probiotic detergents besides the criteria we had in the eco-label certifications. So on the regulatory level, we see nice progress for probiotic detergents. There is also we call it mainstream validation. More and more companies and larger companies also now start introducing probiotic and symbiotic cleaning product ranges. For instance, Unilever, who launched the Cif probiotic a couple of months ago in the course of last year, and Ecolab in the professional industry launched the synbiotic cleaning product range, and there are many more to mention. So there is a growing demand, and also from the consumer itself, not specifically towards probiotics, but more in general, sustainability, safety are of growing interest and importance to the consumer. And of course, the probiotic and symbiotic technologies, they can really live up to these deep consumer demands and provide nice benefits. Next slide, please, Rahel. We do, of course, a lot of research. As I mentioned, 25 years already that we are working on probiotic and symbiotic technology. We'll come back to the scientific part later on, but just to mention, in Belgium, we now currently have the labs there mainly for QC, because the bulk of the production, which Mauricio will present to you later on, is located in Belgium. And there the labs mostly serve for quality control and formulations, upgrades of formulations, product formulation changes, tailor-made changes based on customer requests. Whereas the newly founded lab since last year in Switzerland, near Zurich, really serves for new technology developments and also fermentation of new bacterial and probiotic strains for specific applications. Next slide, please. To be clear, this webinar is specifically on probiotics and symbiotic technology, but just to make sure that you are well aware of the widespread offering and applications that HEIQ Crizal or HEIQ has in general. We do work on different technologies, of course, the symbiotics, which we call HEIQ Symbio, the probiotics under the Vivotech brand, but also biosurfactants is important, because we see that the conventional surfactants are becoming more and more blacklisted in more and more regions. So the biosurfactants there, they are a very sustainable and even more effective alternative. All of these ingredients, because this is actually core technologies, raw materials, can be combined. So we have, for instance, probiotic, biosurfactant-based products, symbiotic. Combinations can be made depending on the needs. And we do have existing products and also can develop products for a wide range of applications, not only to the consumer market, but also into the professional industry based on cleaning, home care, even personal care. Mauricio will show you that we're also working on a new GMP facility for that. Animal care, industrial water treatment, and even HVAC system treatment with probiotic foaming. So a wide range of possibilities and applications. But today we focus a little bit more on the consumer home care and laundry application. Next slide, please. So symbiotics, just for those who are new to the concept, we have at first probiotics. We started developing probiotic cleaning products and laundry detergents already back in the early years 2000, so almost 25 years ago. A probiotic is a good bacteria. It originates from food industry. We all know the Yakult and the Actimel yogurt drinks to improve your intestinal microflora. It's the same concept, so similar type of microorganisms we now use in cleaning products to also provide us with benefits that improve our health and living environment. So probiotics are good bacteria. And then we added a couple of years ago, we started with symbiotic technology, which is actually a second generation of probiotic products, where on top of the probiotic bacteria, we add prebiotic sugars. Prebiotic sugars are short chain types of sugars that can only be digested by good bacteria like the probiotics. So they do two things. Prebiotics can boost the activity of our own probiotics in the product, and they can also selectively stimulate the activity of existing good bacteria that we already have in our environment or, for instance, on our skin. Next slide, please. So specifically on the cleaning applications, of course, the problem has always been when you talk about ecological or sustainable products, yeah, it's less performant, it's better for the environment, but it's not as strong as the chemical old school products. Well, that's already a long time behind us. The sustainable alternatives are more performing. Which is clearly shown here in this example. So if we take, for instance, this floor, which was in a fast food chain, a quarter-deck restaurant in the US, there's a greasy floor, and then you see in between the tiles these black joints, which is all organic buildup that is very difficult to remove or impossible to remove with a traditional cleaner using conventional detergents. When you apply the symbiotic cleaning, eventually what happens is that the probiotics will penetrate into the surface because they are microscopically clean, microscopically small, and then they clean on a microscopic level the surface from the inside out. And after a couple of days, and certainly after 10 days, 2 weeks, you clearly start noticing the removal of this very difficult to remove organic dirt, like you see on the picture. So below the joints between the tiles, they become nicely white again, and all the black organic buildup has been digested by the probiotic bacteria. Next slide, please. And they do that in a very simple way. So actually the mode of action is very simple. It's based on enzymes. We know enzymatic cleaning products from already the 80s, a long time ago. But there are some issues. Products containing enzymes, they may cause allergies. They're not allowed to be sprayed. Also, the time that they need to work is limited, and that they work is limited. So we solve that with the probiotics. So inside the product, you still have some chemistry, some surfactants, conventional ones or biosurfactants. And then you have the probiotics. You apply the product, immediately the probiotics are activated, so they germinate, which in case of the symbiotics goes faster because of the prebiotic booster. And then the probiotic bacteria, they end up on the surface. They sense what type of organic food, organic pollution that they have available. They start making enzymes. So the blend that we use can make up to 29 different enzymes. So pretty much every organic type of pollution you have on the surface will be digested by the probiotics, and they absorb it as a food source. So then gradually you can see that the whole surface and the organic pollution is being removed. Next slide, please. That was for cleaning, hard surface cleaning. Now for laundry, it's pretty much the same concept, but there you have this extra benefit for the machine itself. So we know that inside a laundry machine, there is also a buildup of organic pollution, certainly in the rubbers. And there we notice that when you use the probiotic or symbiotic laundry detergent, that your machine, the laundry machine, stays perfectly clean. And as a result of that, odor-free as well. We're not going to go into any details specifically, but we also have been doing research in Switzerland showing that laundry that is being washed probiotically contains all the good bacteria on the textile, which then automatically also provides you with additional benefits like allergen reduction, odor control, and we're working also on the proof of skin microflora enhancement with probiotic textile. Next slide, please. Yeah, next slide. Then, of course, as I said, 25 years, the big advantage there is that we have been pioneering for many, many years. And of course, during these years, we are building evidence, we are building in data set information on the safety, the efficacy of the products that we use, of the bacteria that are being used in these products. We're not going to go in detail, but anyhow, We were the first also to have the eco-label registration for probiotic products. We do have a lot of OECD safety testing on the product. So over the years, it's very important, and we are happy to see that in the EU detergent regulation, this type of criteria are also demanded to make sure that the products that are on the European market are safe and effective. Next slide, please. Then besides our own research, which focuses mostly on the actual first steps to find new technologies to make formulations, the eventual validation, the proof of efficacy is always done external, because whatever you do yourself has not the same credibility as an external testing and validation. Mostly it's done by universities, and we have over the years for the cleaning applications been working a lot with several hospitals, very high-end hospitals, to prove that the use of probiotic and synbiotic cleaning products, for hard surface cleaning, is safe, it's effective, and it helps to provide a solution against antimicrobial resistance. There's also research on skin microbiome, personal care applications, animal care, a lot of textile applications. Whoever is interested in any of these, we're happy to provide you with all the details. But for now, just this overview to show you that we are doing a lot of research, preferably in collaboration with third parties. Next slide, please. Yeah. And then this, luckily, this research, of course, besides serving us as a company to convince our partners and customers about the efficacy and safety of the product, it also leads to changes, official changes in mentality, where we see a shift going from the very old school chemical disinfectant mindset about killing all the microorganisms to create sterile environments, which no longer works. We have resistance against antibiotics, against biocides. So luckily, institutes like Robert Koch, who are specialists and make guidelines for hospital infection control, they update, of course, their opinions, and they also start including and looking into probiotic and symbiotic technology, saying that, okay, these sustainable alternatives for certain applications are certainly worthwhile looking into and replacing the older chemical products if necessary. Next slide. And I think so that was my part briefly on what we're doing and on the technology. Of course, there's a lot to tell about the scientific and technological background. But I leave now the word to Ollie, who's going to talk a little bit more on the consumer trends. He's fully into marketing and the consumer trends he sees. And then Mauricio later on will present you some operational stuff. Looking forward to your questions after these presentations. Ollie, up to you.
Yeah, thanks, Robin. So for those that don't know much about Gutology, we're a UK-based company. We live in the oral care world and direct to consumer. So we spend a lot of times speaking with our customers and noticing this kind of trend shifts that are going on in the industry. So why do we exist? Well, we felt like there was a blind spot in the oral care industry. You brush your teeth twice a day, every single day. And so many of us are aware of the things that we put in our body. We eat very well, we take lots of supplements. But if you look at the ingredient list in toothpaste, certainly it's not particularly microbiome friendly and not very gut friendly. So we understand now that we have this incredible oral microbiome with around about 700 million bacteria. And our philosophy here at Gutology is that our toothpaste shouldn't sterilize and wipe away those bacteria. It should nurture it. I always talk internally here about the kind of uphill marketing challenge that we all have to raise awareness around this. And I think that's because there has been so much marketing for us in the oral care, for many of you in the home care, around sterilizing, cleaning, and wiping away bacteria. However, I do think there is a wind shift. I think there is a turning. This is the sort of moment where it happens. I think that is a mixture of things. I think people have become more aware of the impact of over sterilizing in our lives. I think COVID played a really significant piece in that, where we were sort of led down the garden path of making sure that everything was sterile. And I think we came away from that as a society, really starting to question, with a rise in autoimmunity and allergies, that actually perhaps bacteria aren't bad. And I think if we look at the oral care aisle, and I know people are joining here from around the world, but certainly what I can tell you in the UK is that these trends can shift really fast. You know, if you go into a UK supermarket now and you look in the dairy aisle, you know, just 10 years ago, it was predominantly made up of pretty traditional milk, yogurt. Whereas if you go in now, it is dominated by bacteria. It is dominated by gut-friendly, probiotic-driven kefir formulations, with the gut being the forefront of that. And I think one thing that we've learned here at Gutology is that the job now is to raise the awareness of how important it is to reduce chemicals in our lives, and how important the microbiome is, not just our gut microbiome. We have a microbiome on our skin, we have a microbiome in our mouths, we even have a microbiome in our home, and how we can shift from a mindset of sterilizing to a mindset of harmony in all of those ecosystems. I think the challenge is for the consumer is, you know, I sort of think about it as a spectrum. And on one side of the spectrum, I think consumers think of, you know, high chemical, high efficacy. So bleach being a great example of that. So it works really, really well at cleaning and sterilizing. But perhaps consumers now feel less and less comfortable with the amount of chemicals. And I think on the other end of the spectrum, we have natural, where there has been a shift, a small shift, certainly over the last 10 to 15 years. But what that has meant is it's often meant a lack of efficacy. And I think what we've really tried to do here at Gutology is find that middle sweet spot where we can deliver a natural product that has all of the efficacy of a mainstream toothpaste. And the third thing, which is going to be really important for all of your R&D teams and certainly your market teams as well, is that it cannot sacrifice on experience. And so that's what we've done here. I think a combination of us growing our toothpaste, to give you some context now, you know, we've climbed to top 10 in Amazon in the UK alongside the major oral care companies. It really, really comes down to listening to your consumer. So bringing that efficacy, that natural, low tox, microbiome friendly element. And then the most important thing that you cannot skimp on is consumer delight. You know, for us, we always say, you know, the natural toothpaste that is as good as the high street experience. So customers know. And so lots of iteration around that, listening to your customers, and, you know, trusting in this thing that there is a rising tide here around awareness of gut health, the microbiome. You know, we are riding a sort of rising tide in the industry here, thanks to, you know, so many publications now shining a spotlight on that. So here at Gutology, we feel incredibly optimistic in a way that bacteria are going to play such an important part in society, and they're also shifting the future of consumer trends. And I'm going to hand over now to Mauricio from the UK to Belgium, I believe.
Yes, thanks, Ollie. I'm going to talk about the fun part of the operations here at Crisal. Crisal has 30 years of experience with biotech, and we drive innovation, and we always worked with probiotic, synbiotic, and now we biosurfactants. We have ISO certified production here in Lommel, in the north part of Belgium. And we also have a production facility in Concord, North Carolina, US. We also have labs, as Robin explained, in Belgium, Switzerland, and North Carolina. We have a great collaboration with our Swiss lab and colleagues. They already accepted that in Belgium we have better chocolate, but we do a lot of development together. One thing which is important to mention, Crisal has accumulated a lot of certifications throughout the years. So some of our products have eco-label, cradle to cradle. We also have halal certification for most of our products. So we also have certifications that make us solid when going to the market. One important element of Crisal, please next slide. 90% of our products, of the products that we manufacture, they are for private labels. So we offer our partners a lot of flexibility. We are very agile. We can decide things very fast. So we can provide our formulas with the packaging of the partner, our formulas with the private labels. We can provide customized formulas. We can joint develop together formulas that are fine-tuned for the needs of the partner. That's something that we have a lot of experience on doing that. We can provide bulk liquid. For instance, we ship bulk liquid to Thailand, Japan, recently to Korea. So we provide the bulk liquid and we teach and guide the partner to do the filling at their site according to our requirements and guidelines. And we also can provide concentrate, synbiotic or probiotic concentrate and semi-finished products. We do that for many years for South Africa, and we have been doing that with a lot of success to Israel. So if you want to build your brand with a solid foundation and go to the market, we have what you need, and we have experience in doing that. An overview, I would like to give an overview on the manufacturing capacity that we have. So in Belgium, we have a 20,000 square meter plant. And here in Belgium, we can do from small packaging like this, 50 ml, 100 ml to 1,000 liter IBCs. We have a great capacity. We can do, for instance, 1 liter bottles. We can do 100,000 liter bottles per day. We also have a manufacturing plant in South Africa, where we work already together for more than a decade. And we also have a manufacturing facility in North Carolina and Georgia, 50,000 square meter plant. As Robin mentioned, we are working in a new manufacturing facility that's going to be producing products according to GMP, and that will satisfy the needs of fast-moving consumer good companies and also personal care. I just want to close with some examples of what we have been doing with partners around the world. So the first example is a laundry product that we sell already for many years, probiotic based in Finland, with my beloved partner from home care. We also sell through our partners in Israel this physical product, probiotic laundry, which has great success in Israel. They have about now 27% of the market share in Israel, and that's something that has been really exposed, and it's a very good formulation. We also have Clean Habits in US. Clean Habits is available in Walmart, Vitacost, Kroger, also synbiotic laundry detergent. More examples in the next slide. Fabric fresheners, we have Q-Viva, which is a very recognized brand and product here in Belgium. They sell allergen spray, sports gear. We have Rhinoc that sells sports gear, fresh product for the Netherlands primarily. And to close, I also have examples of cleaning sprays. We have our partners from Historia Verde. They sell here in Belgium. They are growing every year nicely. We have our partners from Milan with an all-purpose cleaner, Puro, and the partners from Canada, Biome, that also sells. So as you can see, we are ready to take the demand. We know what we do, we have experience, and we have manufacturing capacity. So yeah, I close my part and I give to Rael.
Okay. It somehow takes a bit longer to unhook my mic and my video. Thank you very much for your presentations. We're now coming to the Q&A part of our webinar. There are already questions. I will now go through them. First one is to me, I would say. Do you share the presentations afterwards? Yes, we do. Just write me an email and I will send it by email. Okay, next one. Please let us know if you supply concentrates or additives for customers' own production and how such a cooperation is typically structured. Maybe that goes to Mauricio.
Yes, as we explained, there's no problem. Of course, we have to align first to make sure that your formulation is compatible and viable with our symbiotics. But that's something that we can investigate together and test. But as I said, we have done that many times to Israel, South Africa, and other partners. So that's something that we can do. We can sell our ingredient, our concentrates, to your company or to the product that you want to develop. That's possible.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question is probably to Robin. Does HEIQ have test protocols to quantify the specific impact of probiotics on the cleaning performance of hard surface cleaners, apart from disinfection?
Yep. Yes, we do. Of course, there's a difference between when you compare to disinfectants, so testing on a microbiological level. There are all kinds of test protocols to verify the evolution of microbiology. We need to know, of course, if the probiotics themselves remain active on the surface, depending on the amount of food source. But important to know also on the actual cleaning performance. There are standards like ATP and other things that you can do, but important to know is that all of our probiotic and synbiotic products are eco-label certified, and important part of this certification process is the actual efficacy testing, where you need to do field trials, actual tests, and compare it with benchmark products. So and not only for our products, of course, but any product that has the eco-label certificate has been thoroughly tested for the efficacy, that it at least performs as well as a benchmark product or preferably even better. But we do have all kinds of test protocols depending on what you want to know. If you measure microbiology, reduction of organic pollution, things like that. So yes, we can share that with any of our customers who want to also validate the product performance.
Okay, maybe you can also answer the next one. What do you think about the multi-uses detergent with alcohol or with probiotics?
Well, there are all kinds of possible combinations. So, of course, our product range still contains chemicals. It's not that we do have a few products that only contain probiotics, like odor control spray for textiles and allergen reduction. But the majority of the cleaning products and laundry detergents, they still contain chemistry. It can be biosurfactants, for instance. But also what we have is a hand alcohol gel with probiotics. Same that you can do for cleaning products. You can include certain types of biocidal ingredients. We also have a patent on symbiotic disinfectant. It is, of course, very tricky, but one of the main tasks that we do, and that's in Belgium then, the formulation lab, is indeed looking what kind of biocidal active substances or preservatives can be combined with the probiotics, depending on their nature. Of course, sporicidal ingredients, that will be difficult, but we do have in the meantime a pretty large library of formulations where indeed the combination of probiotics and alcohol-based multi-use surfactants are also possible.
Okay, thank you. A question to Ollie. I know that you are more into oral and gut microbiome. What do you observe in the UK about microbiome in homes? Do you have any observations?
Yeah, so I think one thing that we have a big podcast here in the UK, which is how we've lifted a lot of kind of education about it. And one theme that we've seen, growing and growing is this idea of this kind of low tox living. This is what we see from the consumers. So they may not be able to articulate how they want to clean, but there is a demand there from the consumer to reduce the chemical load on a daily basis. And we're particularly seeing that, yes, across the whole range of consumer products, oral, skin, but there is a huge demand for the home. People are becoming aware now that many different things in their home have chemicals in them, and they're trying to reduce that. I think the confidence that the sort of consumer needs is that the product actually works, and I think this is where you need to bring the science, you need the trials behind it. And I think for us, Robin and I have kind of been working hard on how we can utilize this technology for us, particularly right now in oral care. But I think you've got to kind of be brave about it. You've got to bring the science, which HEIQ do such a good job of. But there is certainly a demand from the consumer for a lower tox lifestyle. It's just giving them that confidence that the product works.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Actually, this reminds me, we have a B2B customer also in the UK, and he's serving schools because after COVID, when they kind of over-sanitized everything, they were a bit afraid of poisoning their students. So they started with probiotic cleaning there. So that kind of just, I heard this before kind of feeling. Thank you. We go back to technicalities. So that would be for Robin. I would like to hear about the shelf life of the symbiotic products Dr. Temmerman mentioned. He mentioned activation, germination. Also, how long do probiotic bacteria survive after the cleaning process?
Yeah, good question. Of course, there's two aspects, shelf life and the product, the concentrate. So we have products that need to be diluted. There, the shelf life is 3 years. But upon dilution, if you make a dilution like in a trigger spray, then the shelf life of the probiotics inside this diluted bottle is up to a week. We recommend to not use it for longer than a week because afterwards the probiotics, because they cannot find a food source, they just die off. So a week in a dilution. On the surface, it largely depends also on the amount of organic pollution, food for the bacteria. If they end up on a surface where there's almost nothing, then of course, if you have the synbiotic version, then they can use the prebiotic sugar as a starter pack of food. So they survive then anyhow for a couple of days on the surface. If there's a lot of food, they can stay on for longer, maybe up to 2 weeks. Eventually, they will disappear. So it depends a little bit, but anyhow, concentrated product, 3 years, diluted product, a week. And on the surface, let's say on average, 5 days up to a week.
Okay, thank you. And also for you, Robin alluded to probiotics reducing biofilm buildup in laundry machines. Are you able to recommend testing criteria for quantifying these benefits?
It's now, first of all, on the I see that in the questions, there's a huge amount of questions coming in. So rest assured, we will answer all of them later on by email if yours doesn't make it here. Now in the laundry, of course, same there. So you can do ATP measurement, you can do total count measurements specifically for microbiology to see to what extent the probiotics are active in the laundry machine, but also a physical is just taking a swab, measuring the degree, the amount of organic pollution you have. So there's all kinds of methods, but what we do prefer mostly is people just using it, applying it, like in an existing laundry machine that has issues with odor or biofilm, and just start applying and then visually just witness how the machine becomes clean and odor-free.
Okay. Next question. Maybe to Mauricio, it's more of a production thing. When filling bulk of your products at our own production, how can you make sure the good bacteria don't cause false contamination in other standard products? So when they get bulk and use it in their own production.
Yes, that's a good question. That's why we have protocols. I mean, we have been doing this for 25 years. So we have protocols for the filling. I cannot go in details now because it's proprietary, but we have protocols for doing the filling and also analyzing what has been produced. So that's something that we can, when we partner with your company, you're going to have access to that, and that will allow you to be able to produce and to not have issues when measuring, and make sure that our probiotics don't go to the other standard products that you may have in your facility. But that's something we are very comfortable to help, and we have established protocols that we share with the partners when we go to do the filling.
I think also, if I may add, for those who are in Europe, that will fall under the new EU detergent regulation. It's important, whoever manufactures probiotic detergents, they will have to live up to the very strict QC criteria. So for probiotic detergents, there is a pretty extensive list of microbiological quality control you need to do to verify if there are no specific contaminants in the product, which is much more strict compared to the normal standards we had before. So we are at Crizal in Belgium, we're fully set up. We're already doing these microbiological quality control checks for many years, but it can be, besides pure technically, the production itself and the cleaning in place procedures and stuff like that. Also, the quality control you need to do on batches that you produce are very, very strict. So also there we can of course, if a collaboration is started, we can train you how to do that. But I think it will be an obstacle for quite some companies who want to go into manufacturing of probiotic detergents.
Okay. The next question is for Ollie, and maybe Robin can then also add his opinion on the various bacteria. Ollie, what type of probiotic bacteria are being used in Gutology toothpaste, and are they beneficial in our mouth?
Yeah, so I think
you don't have to actually disclose any secrets. But
yeah, no, I think, as Robin's going on is talking about there, you need a huge amount of experience to understand how this plays out over time. I think one of the challenges, particularly with live probiotics in a long shelf life product like oral care, is the doubts around efficacy over long periods of time. If somebody's opening this product sort of 2 years later. So we've been on a long journey as a company looking at live bacteria, postbiotics, synbiotics, and something that HEIQ and Gutology are really, really interested in at the moment is how do we actually demonstrate this efficacy over long shelf life products? How do we put the resource and time into these full-scale clinical studies to really, really understand what the future of oral care looks like? I think there is really, really exciting developments, particularly in postbiotics and synbiotics, which I think will play a significant role for us in the future of oral care. And as HEIQ have been exploring for the last 20 years, it's going to play a significant role in home care.
Yeah, I can just add to that. Of course, even in the food industry, the best known examples of probiotics are lactobacillus and bifidobacteria, which are great for their performance in the gut at 37 degrees and a very low oxygen to even anaerobic conditions where they perform well. When it's about cleaning them, hard surface cleaning, laundry, whatever, We need to look more at environmental microorganisms, and also within probiotic food supplements, there are products and bacterial strains from the Bacillus genus that make spores that are perfectly food safe. They're on the EFSA food safety list. But they are more suitable to process into products because they make spores, and also they perform very well out in the open on hard surfaces with fluctuating temperatures and humidities and things like that. And then for oral care or skin applications, for instance, we can still use the Bacillus spores because of the long shelf life, and they solve problems. But to then also help the lactobacillus, which is, for instance, also very important on skin and in oral care, we have the prebiotics, for instance, to stimulate the activity of these lactobacillus that you already have on your skin or in your mouth. So we use bacillus spores because to give it a long shelf life, to perform very well in oxygen high hard surface areas, and the prebiotics to then boost the lactobacillus or other beneficial organisms you may need on your skin and or oral care.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is the time's run away with us. Thank you very much, speakers, for your input. We did not get to answer all the questions. We will answer by email later. Thank you very much for attending this webinar, and hopefully see you in next time. We frequently hold webinars. If you have any open questions that you haven't asked yet, feel free to send an email. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much for your
See you
attendance.
next time. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.